After some time of testing and trying different things, the way I use the blogs now in these last few classes I've done is to take a kind of single blog format. Namely, we are blogging together as a core, as a class. So we are all co-authoring a single document, sort of the vision that I have of this. One other way of doing it would be to have each student blogging on their own blog, and then we aggregate the content. And I found that that's been problematic because it doesn't really generate the back and forth, the dialogical dimension of the discussion that I would like. And all the writing skills I normally would want, I'm insisting be present in the blog. So we sort of make a distinction between a post, which has to be much more substantive and organized, and maybe comments which could involve a little bit more colloquial back and forth because we want to cultivate dialogue around the material we are doing.
I didn't think anybody would read it at all. And then there would just be these moments of like epiphany where, you know, Boston College comes in and starts talking with us, and then we realize, well, yeah, everybody potentially can read this.
It's replacing the writing in my course. Except for the final research paper, it's all blogging. But what it is giving me for that is, first of all, the students are not writing any longer for one person. They're writing for one another, for a wider public. It's really an infinite audience they're writing for. And then I find that they're much more willing to and eager to correct issues that I direct them to.
It kind of gives you something to look forward to, like, oh, like I'm bored, like I could go on Facebook, or I could like check the blog and see what's going on the blog and like see these posts and be like, yeah, I have something to say about that. And you start typing, and next thing it's like an hour later, and I don't know, it's just like, it's a different sort of participation, I guess. Like in all my other classes, like participation is like come to class and like raise your hand. But like this blog was like participation that I actually like enjoyed doing. Like I didn't feel like I had to like, oh, let me think of something. Like I didn't have to drag myself to do it. I was like looking forward to seeing what people had been saying about what we'd been reading. So yeah, I'm gonna miss it. I'll probably still go back and check it, to be honest with you, just because like I just want to see what else is there to talk about, you know. So I'll miss it. Yeah.
A lot of this is really fun. I mean, the students, when you see the students get into the blogging. And you get to know them on a level that you wouldn't know them on because you know that this student almost always is bringing up, you know, let's say the question about God and the existence of God or something. There's these internal jokes that sort of start coming in to the class, and the classroom becomes a community. And before class, you hear them talking to each other. They know each other a little bit.
It never even entered into my mind initially because I never thought that anyone would take the time out to actually go on a Penn State website and read these blogs, and then to have other people come on to that website and read what I wrote is just so humbling. Even if they do critique it or make fun of me, I mean, it was still just really it felt really good to be relevant.
So it's clear that when it's working right, the blog is cultivating a community of learning around the material that I want them to be focusing on. And then you have things that are really remarkable, like students who are stuck on a train because there was a delay somewhere. They get on my blog and they start posting about what it means to be late and the question of responsibility and all these things which I didn't anticipate we would be talking about as a theme in this class. But yes, they're in the text, and let's think about them. So I don't think a blog is particularly effective if it is just an electronic medium for doing education the way we've always done education, or the way this sort of, you know, top-down, pouring information into empty vessels kind of model of education. But if you can think of the blog as a way of cultivating a community of learning around the material you want to focus on, be it in history or in science or in whatever, you know, I teach philosophy, and I think philosophy lends itself in some ways to doing some of these things because the skills I want them to learn are critical thinking, critical writing. I want to give them an international or global kind of perspective. I want them to think about ethical issues that are involved in the things that we read. So I think philosophy does lend itself to this, but I think it can be used across the board.